Hi, I'm Simon Pound from Vend, and today we're joined by Jeffrey Atazado from SMB Consultants. They're a partner that have helped hundreds of retailers across Australia move to the cloud and change their retail technology in order to streamline their businesses, update their processes, increase sales, and become better at their business. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Simon.
First up, Jeffrey, what does a partner do, and why does a retailer call a partner in to help them out?
A partner is really a trusted consultant for the small business. We're the people that really understand how the business works and can help them navigate through all the choice that's available out there. And we provide services to the small business that allow them to get set up really well, understand what all the options are in the marketplace, make sure that they're utilizing the software in the right way so that they're getting the most return out of the software, and then providing them with a level of support so that if there's things that go wrong or that they need help with, that they have somebody that they can call on to get them through that.
Do you have a typical kind of retailer who works with you? Is it someone who's starting out, or someone who's got lots of stores, or do they have to have complicated operations, or is it everyone?
No, there isn't really a typical. We have a lot of new businesses that come to us that are starting with a new idea, and it's really exciting to see an idea come from concept into reality. But we have a lot of existing businesses as well that are looking to improve their business, or they're going through massive growth, and they need to be able to find a way to scale their business and deal with their growth. Mainly it's people that are looking to improve the way their operations work, and they're looking to technology to find out ways that they can improve.
And how do you go through that process? Do you head in and take an analysis of everything in the business and then offer them a range of choices, or do you have ready to go kits, or is it always bespoke?
Yeah, I think our unique point of difference is that we are an agnostic provider, and we provide a complete solution for the business owner. I'm finding that there's a lot of businesses today that are wrapped up in all the different moving parts. Some things are working, some things aren't, and they really need a consultant that can be a single point of truth for them to guide their way through what's working and what isn't, and how they're going to fix that. So our approach is a very holistic approach. I think the other thing we do differently is not to assume that the way that a business is doing things is necessarily the best way or the right way. A lot of businesses will just continue to adopt or continue to use processes that they're used to because they're completely unaware of the options or choices that are available out there.
How does hardware work in with that?
Yeah, hardware is not as big I guess an element in the solution anymore. A lot of it is quite generic and plug and play. In fact, for many of the installations that we do, we just drop ship the hardware and we configure it remotely. And I think a lot of retailers are traditionally used to calling the IT guy and having them come out and plug things in. And that's not the case anymore. Because of the cloud, data is stored externally. It's no longer the responsibility of the retailer to store that data.
Yeah, no longer have a server they have to worry about.
No, they don't. Yeah. And that really is quite liberating for them. So they don't have to invest as much money in hardware. They don't have to have the responsibility of supporting that as much. We can support clients remotely.
But if they need someone to come in and actually plug some stuff in and give them that reassurance to get on board, is that somewhere where a partner's able to help?
Absolutely. We still offer that as a service if some people still feel that they would love to have somebody come out and plug things in and make sure that everything is working the way it should be. We still offer that as an option, but I think allowing people to know that it's not the only option and that they don't have to pay for someone to come out, that it can be done remotely, gives people choice, and then they can decide what's the best fit for them.
Something I hear about talking to retailers is that they'll love individual apps that make up their business tools, but they find that when it comes to integrating them, maybe the support that they find for each individual one, suddenly it's no one's problem. Is that kind of something where a cloud integrator and a partner is able to be that glue in the relationship?
Absolutely. I think that is becoming more and more defining our value in the marketplace. And that's where a cloud integrator is really unique, is that we actually work in the middle of the ecosystem. We work directly with all the integrations. If something doesn't work that's passing information between two apps, we can understand why that's not working. And I think a lot of business owners value that type of experience and that ability to provide support with integrations, because if the integrations work, they can save a lot of time, but if they don't work, they can be very frustrating as well.
It's kind of the magic of the cloud in that you can stitch together these apps to make your own mini enterprise system for your business. But the flip side of it is that these apps are so much more economical than traditional software licenses. But you maybe have to invest in the glue and invest in keeping those integrations going.
There's so many great turnkey integrations today that if you use a turnkey integration, you know it's supported by thousands of people. So if there are problems with it, or there are, those support issues are going to be raised very quickly because there's thousands of people using it. That being said, there are a lot of different combinations as to the way things can be used, and sometimes I think business owners don't have the ability to take a step back and look at the big picture to understand how those software packages can be used more effectively. I think a lot of business owners, what they do is they adopt their old way of doing things with the software they've replaced, and they just continue to use the new software that way. And I think that's where a consultant like SMB Consultants can really assist the business. Is we can go in and look at the way they're using things and make recommendations, small little 1%ers that will make a really big difference to the way that they will work overall.
And how is that kind of a system set up and built for? Like if you have a couple of apps in play and then an ongoing relationship, how do you go about setting what the costs are, and so there isn't bill shock and retailers can have some kind of certainty and understanding about how things work?
Sure, so costs are broken down into different areas. So there's the software license cost, and I think that's been very great. The SaaS model has made software really accessible to small business owners because they're paying in monthly installments, they're paying for what they use, so they can start out really small with a one user just to get off the ground, and as they see their needs change, they can scale quite quickly and add users as they see necessary. In terms of our setup costs, we try to charge set fees based on the time that's required. I think in today's day and age, people like to know sort of what the costs are. If there are any contingencies around why that might be billed extra, we would always just quote on the additional work. A lot of the training workshops that we provide, I think training is a big element of what we do, providing end user training to not just feature set, but actually specific to roles within a business. So somebody that works in a shop will need different training to that of a manager, and that will need different training to that of an office manager that works with finance. So, and all of our training workshops are itemized, so a business owner can almost choose training workshops a la carte. And then there's a hardware element. Hardware element is priced basically on the requirements of the business, and a lot of the time a business can also BYOD. There's a lot of businesses that, one of their apprehensions about looking at a new system is they've just recently invested in a lot of hardware and they feel like it's a waste of money if they need to switch. And more often than not, we can utilize a lot of the existing hardware that's in a business, saving them money. And then the last cost would be a support cost. And the support cost is a monthly recurring fee. There's a minimum 12-month commitment, but it's basically like an insurance policy for a business. It allows them to have the peace of mind that for a fixed monthly rate, they can have a consultant that they can call upon and ask questions, and that can provide support not just around one piece of software, but around the entire suite of products that are needed to run the business. And I think that a lot of businesses find that to be beneficial, that they do have one single provider that understands how all these applications work.
And also one of the great promises of the cloud is that it's always updating. But one of the challenges for businesses is if things do update, having to update their processes. So I imagine a yearly contract allows you to keep growing and training throughout the process.
One of the benefits of the cloud is that the software is always up to date. It's no longer the business owner's responsibility to update the software, but with that comes new features, and we are constantly revisiting businesses, looking at when new features are implemented, making sure that businesses can implement those really well and that they're using them the right way. And that means that we're not dealing with a wide range of retailers that are working on different versions and aren't having access to features that are really going to benefit their business.
And in terms of that ecosystem, the ability of these apps to do these specific jobs, do you, when you go into businesses, offer different apps in the same category? So for example, a different point of sale to a restaurant to a retailer, and is this an important part of the way that you operate?
Absolutely. I think it's been a critical piece of how SMB have evolved. We started just with one retail point of sale system, and now we've grown to having well over 25 different apps that we support. That being said, we curate every single app that we have in our portfolio. That has built a level of trust in the industry, knowing that SMB Consultants will only really sort of recommend products that are best in class. We don't believe in recommending a product unless it's a product that we're going to really support and have a lot of experience setting up.
And in terms of when you do go into businesses and change their business processes and streamline their operations and bring them onto these new technology, what kind of results do you see? Does it increase sales? Does it remove difficulty in admin from people's lives? What kind of things do you see in your work?
It's amazing. I think it's probably the most rewarding thing about what I do is seeing the change over time. It can be in the way of a business growing. It can be in the way of helping a business get online where they thought that they would never have the resources or the time to do that. It can be in the way of a business refining the way they do their purchasing or getting a better handle on their cash flow.
And those magic moments where they see something that was a difficult manual process is suddenly automagically in the cloud.
I've always tried to be at the forefront of innovation and tried to figure out how technology could make things easier or ways that there could be a different way of doing things. And it's translated really well, and I still get a kick out of doing that for small businesses.
You've been into hundreds of retail businesses now. What are the major kind of like pain points or challenges that you see retailers facing?
I think more common today is that I see a lot of business owners struggling with all the choice out there. I mean, there's just so much choice in today's world that a small business owner doesn't have the time to go through and find out about all the different solutions that are available out there to them. It's confusing. The biggest trend that I see right now is we actually get a lot of existing businesses that are already using a few of these apps. They're sort of on their cloud journey, but they need help wrapping it all up or getting more out of it because they know that they've taken it as far as they can, and there's still things that they could be doing that could improve the way that they work. They just don't know how to get there. They've seen some benefits, but they want to take that further now across their entire business.
And so if you are a retailer looking to start on the process, what's like the first contact they have with you, and what's the first step that you take to learn about their business?
Yeah, so the first step in engaging with SMB is to do what we call a scoping session. And a scoping session is quite a unique service that we provide because it provides a business owner with an opportunity to speak with a consultant about their business as a whole. They've probably more often than not already done a bit of their own research. They've probably gone on to a few different websites, and they're wanting a bit of, I guess, an opportunity, a fact-finding mission, the ability to go out, ask questions to a consultant that is really agnostic, that isn't a single provider of one piece of software, and that can really make sense out of where they're at as a business, what are the challenges that they have, where do they want to be, and then what are the right steps to take to get them there. And then as part of the scoping session, we'll go through, well, what does that look like? If we know that this is where we want to be and these are all the different parts of running the business, how can we break that down? How can we make it easier for the business owner? Not just from a cash flow perspective, but from a resource perspective. More often than not, a small business is under-resourced and they can't take on implementing all of these things at once in any case. So how do we break it down in a very staged and structured way so that it makes it a bit easier for them?
Yeah, and so advice for retailers would be to make that small investment in getting a truly independent eye on their processes and not just kind of do it piecemeal, but get that holistic view.
It's a small investment to start that relationship and have a conversation. And if you continue to see value in the experience and the expertise we offer, then we can continue that on and we can sort of grow with you over a period of time. That's our approach, is to make it easier for a business owner to access our services and make sure that we're continuing that journey along with the client.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for chatting us through the process of being a partner, and it's been really cool coming from Venn and seeing the journey of growth that so many of the businesses that you've worked with for many years have had. So thank you for chatting to us today.
Thanks, Simon.
Cheers.